Hey everybody, it's good to see you. I found a nice little cozy spot here where I will be talking to you guys about gaslighting. I would like to begin talking about this subject by stating the following quote. Now, this quote is not like a regular quote. It comes from a pretty good movie from the 90s, The Usual Suspects. And the quote goes like this: "The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist." And this quote is actually so fitting because that's exactly what the narcissistic family system, the narcissist, and the enablers will do. They will try and convince you that the devil, right, the family dysfunction, doesn't exist. They will try to convince you that the things that hurt you never happened. They will try and convince you that dysfunction, your experiences, your memories, your thoughts, they basically come from a crazy place inside your head, that you're the problem and that there is no dysfunction to discuss. They will trivialize your experiences, what you're trying to say, by diminishing the importance of your experiences. They will make it seem like your concerns are completely unimportant and not valid at all. And they will even say things to you like, go take your pills, go see your therapist, and come back when you feel better. Because, nothing to see here. You're the problem. They will blame you for and shift the responsibility of the problem onto you. They will say things, oh, well, it's your character. Or it's, if only you did this differently or that differently, then, that would fix the whole situation. Which it doesn't. It doesn't matter. As you and I both know that it doesn't matter how hard we try and what technique we use with our narcissistic parent. It will not change their narcissism. It will not fix the problem, but they will make you feel like this is something that you have to do every single time, and this dynamic will drag on and on and on for years. They will divert, change the subject. They will redirect attention away from your concerns or from your need to be validated for emotional safety, for your need to get help, to have a family member help you, through this difficult situation. They will completely divert the subject. This is something that I experienced a lot with the golden child, actually. I would say something that would happen, or, as I was processing not having a mother in my life, hey, did you see the latest movie? Oh, that's so funny, that thing that happened the other day, right? Oh my gosh, did you see the news? Did you see the movie? Did you see the song? They will completely cut you off and change the subject, completely diverting away from your actual experiences, And the other thing too is that they will project. This is especially true from the narcissistic parent. When they gaslight you, they will project onto you the very things that they themselves do. They will say things to you like, oh my gosh, you're so negative, or you have anger issues too, right? You have anger issues too. It's not just me. And they will divert completely away from the actual subject at hand by throwing it straight back at you. They will throw it straight back at you, and nothing will ever be resolved. You will feel confused when you experience gaslighting. When a relationship becomes confusing, healthy relationships are not confusing. They're pretty peaceful, It's sure, of course, fights are normal and such, but they're definitely, you normally can tell where you stand, But when you're being constantly gaslighted, you don't know. You don't know who's your friend. You don't know if they're your friend or their enemy. If one moment they're on your side, the second moment they're backstabbing you. One moment they make a promise, the other moment they turn their backs on you. It's very confusing. So if you feel confusion, that's a sign. Another sign is that when you ruminate about the relationship, if you're constantly ruminating about the relationship, that's a sign that something is wrong. Of course, gaslighting, you doubt your ability to reason, and you will also feel guilty and responsible for things that are not your fault at all. That's a big one. You know, you carry the guilt for things that are not your fault, that you did not initiate. The problem, always remember, is at the end of the day, the narcissist who orchestrates the drama, who invents reasons to attack you because they have this constant need. They talk behind your back and so forth, right? The problem is not you, but you will feel guilty and you will blame yourself for, you know, for example, for the casualties, right? For the people who enable the narcissist, and maybe you have feelings for them. And when you leave the narcissist, you know, they don't understand, and then you feel as if you abandoned them and so on. But that's all part of the gaslighting, guys. This is not your fault. And all you can do is really set your boundaries when it comes to this. And you know, you are not responsible for the dysfunction in your family system. You also notice that when you've been gaslighted all your life, you will have a hard time making decisions, trusting yourself and trusting your own judgment. This is something that I've experienced too, you know, when after the fact, when I went no contact and as I worked on my recovery process, when I detected red flags in new people that I met, it took me a while to trust myself and go, is it me? Or am I really detecting a red flag here? I mean, it's a whole process to relearn to trust yourself, because gaslighting takes that away from you. They take that away from you. Another thing is that you're constantly apologizing. You're constantly apologizing for things that are not your fault. And this is like outside of the narcissistic family system. You feel compelled to apologize. You feel compelled to over-explain things. You feel compelled to constantly explain yourself and you know, give people reasons and prove your reality, right? You have this need to constantly prove to other people your reality. Well, I did this because blah, 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 and blah, 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 you know, even though there's like no need for you to do that. You can just say yes or no, you know, if you're setting a boundary or if something's happening, you don't always have to over-explain everything that you do. But when you grow up gaslighted by your own family, you have this constant need to defend your reality. Now, gaslighting by a narcissistic family system is basically you being made to feel guilty or ashamed for your feelings, for your emotions. It's basically you having your thoughts and your feelings constantly being dismissed and invalidated and minimized. It's being constantly told that your perceptions are wrong, your memories are wrong, you know, that's not how it happened, right? You become isolated, you start feeling like everybody hates you. They isolate you from your support system, you know, they will make you feel like you're so crazy that nobody will ever believe you, right? Gaslighting is being told that the abuse that you experience, the psychological and physical abuse, the character destruction, is the culture, and so it's normal. It's when they make you feel like you're going crazy and like you have to go take your pills because you're irrational and the whole family system is normal and you're the one who's completely irrational for feeling the way that you do. It's being blamed for the family's problems and consistently being told that all you have to do is change this about yourself and change that about yourself, and that will resolve the dysfunction. It's being told that you're not loyal and that you're not grateful enough for what you've been given, and therefore you need to keep your mouth shut about the problems or the things that are hurting you or in that relationship. Or also the things that make you feel unsafe, you know. It's being ashamed when it's being made to feel ashamed when you actually try to show proof of your experiences. That won't matter. You show them, even if you have video footage, even if you have an email, if you record a conversation, they will shame you. They will find a way to shame what you're doing, and they will divert once again the problem away from what, they will divert the subject away from the real problem, and they will zoom into what you're doing and how you're flawed and how it is you that's the problem. They will tell you that you're making things up. They will tell you that you're overreacting. They're going to tell you that you're too emotional. They're going to tell you that you're not capable of understanding the bigger picture, right? They will tell you don't understand the bigger picture. They will tell you that you're not strong enough to handle whatever situation you're dealing with. You're not strong. You're too weak to handle this. You're too weak to handle this. You can't do it. You're not smart enough to do this. Sorry. It's being told that you should be happy with with the way that things are. And that it's also being warned not to bring negative attention to the family, and that we will deal with this ourselves, and there is no need to ask for help or bring other people into this. It's being told that you should not talk about the family issues with anyone, and that some families have secrets, right? And so you should not be seeking out help or asking for help, because what happens in the family stays in the family, right? This is how they isolate you. Gaslighting takes away our power. It takes away our ability to defend ourselves. It takes away, it makes us feel like we are the problem, and like we don't have the ability to reason, and like everybody will think that we're crazy, that we're dysfunctional, that there's something wrong with us. That's what the point of gaslighting is. But gaslighting, what it is that it's basically denial. It doesn't matter how much you try to address the problem. It doesn't matter how you communicate. It doesn't matter how much proof you show. It doesn't matter, because if somebody gaslights you, if your family is so hell-bent on denying the real issues and gaslighting you, your communication skills are not the problem at all. They will do this. They will rather make you feel like you're crazy than having them actually addressing the real problems, than having them actually dealing with the real issue at hand. They will rather make you feel crazy than admitting that there's a problem, a really big problem in the family that needs to be addressed. They will not do that. It's too hard for them emotionally to do that. They can't process it, and so they will dump all of that onto the scapegoat. So it's not a communication problem, okay? So now I want to talk to you about what to do about it, and this is for yourself. It's important. These tips are for you and for you alone, because if you're dealing with a gaslighting situation, if your family is gaslighting you, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how you behave. It doesn't matter if you're nice, if you react, if you don't react. Everything that you do will be used against you in the end, and the problems will never be fixed. And it sort of becomes something that the family becomes used to. They become used to, the narcissist fighting with you, and they will label you, the scapegoat, as the one who always creates problems for the family system. So every time you defend yourself, every time you show proof, the more you do this, the more they become desensitized to it. You're not the problem. The problem is that they refuse to address the situation. So when you're gaslighted consistently, first of all, what is so important for you to do is that you have to boost your own reality awareness, okay? You must become a really active participant in validating and acknowledging yourself. And one exercise that I find is really helpful, it helped me a lot, is you actually have to talk to yourself about your reality. So let's say, don't do this, if you're in a public space, obviously, but, for example, right now I'm in the forest, I'm hiking, and so I practice mindful walking as I hike. I pay attention to what's around me, and then I start actively naming what I see. Here's a tree bark. The leaves are green. The water is flowing behind me. I am sitting down. There's a bird singing. I'm touching moss. The air is nice and cool. Talk to yourself about everything that you are doing as you're doing it. Do this every day because you want your mind to connect what you're saying and what you're doing. You want that to connect. You want to create a connection there. You want to create, a pathway in your brain that, okay, no, this is my reality. This is what's happening around me right now. So I'm touching a rock, I'm touching a leaf. If you make yourself breakfast, I'm putting a toast, I'm preparing my toast, I'm cooking my egg, I'm making my coffee, whatever it is that you're doing, several times a day, say it out loud to yourself, okay? This is really helpful. After that, look, I would like to invite you guys to acknowledge with me how ridiculous the whole thing is at the end of the day. If you allow yourself to take a step back and really look squarely at the situation, it's really hard not to see how ridiculous the behavior becomes. Just like how ridiculous it is, the lengths at which these people will absolutely refuse to acknowledge a situation, the lengths at which these people will absolutely refuse to apologize, to admit that they made a mistake, to say, oh, you know what, I screwed up, I'm very sorry, that was a mistake, I'm sorry. Like, how hard is it for them to simply say sorry when they misbehave, to acknowledge that there's something not right, to acknowledge that, okay, I need help with this issue. How hard is it for these people to actually acknowledge what's going on and the ridiculousness at the lengths at which these people have to go to actually distort reality completely and validate your experiences just that they can make themselves look good. Really? It's like, oh my gosh, you know what? I am so sorry for having boundaries. I'm a monster. My boundaries rejected you. Yeah, my boundaries how could I betray my entire family for taking care of myself? For saying, you know what? This is not cool. You can't continue to talk down to me like this. You can't continue calling me names. You can't get physical around me. You can't continue to gaslight me. You can't continue to deny, invalidate, and completely dismiss my experiences. I'm so sorry. I am the greatest traitor on this earth. Only terrible people like me have boundaries and limits and self-respect. I'm an awful person, aren't I, guys? Look at my horns. You have to acknowledge the ridiculousness of the whole thing, really. I mean, this is truly, at the end of the day, all you can do is really just keep your ground, keep your ground and know who you are, know what happened to you. And if they choose to continue living in the delusional world that they live under, that's not on you. All you can do is just continue living your life authentically, and that's it, And that brings me to the importance of listening to your body. Now, of course, you have to be careful because if you're triggered, that's one thing. And I invite you to watch my videos about triggers and such, to get to know, to understand, whether what you're feeling comes from an event that happened in the past or if it's rooted in the present. But for myself, like for example, if you feel disgust around your abuser, that's a sign. If your body will inform you, your body will tell you, like if you feel like you really don't want to be around this person, if you feel like this, that's a sign. Listen to your body. Your body is your ally. It knows about everything that has ever happened to you. Your body is the most important witness of your whole story, okay? So be mindful of how your body feels around toxic people. It's really important that you actually listen to your body. And then I want to say, lastly, keep a journal. Really important to keep a journal to keep yourself grounded. Okay, record all your experiences, and then when you doubt yourself, you just go back to your journal and read about it, and all right, no, this is gaslighting, I'm not gonna get involved. It's really important to keep a journal because it will help you stay grounded, and it will help you remove the self-doubt. And like in the future, when you go back and you read about your experiences, you know, you go like, yeah, wow, this is the dysfunction is completely like beyond my control. There's nothing I can do about this. This is not my fault. It's not on my shoulders. You know, I am not going to carry the guilt and the shame on my shoulders anymore, because this is not really, there's nothing that I can do. Remember, when you're dealing with gaslighting, you're dealing with people who don't want to address the situation. They want to live in denial. They don't want to address the real issues. They will tell you when the narcissistic abuser makes comments about your body, objectifies you. They will say it's normal that they objectify your body and embarrass you at the table in front of everybody. It's normal that they do that. That's what they're gonna say. You know, if the narcissist, whatever it is that they do, seriously, like I know all of us survivors, we all have our own horror stories, you know, but anybody who allows for that behavior to continue, those are people who don't want to address the real issues. And they will use toxic positivity as well to do this, you know, whatever it takes to deny what's going on. So just remember, when you ruminate and when this happens to you, this is not a you issue. This is not a communication issue, okay? So all you can do is really safeguard yourself, safeguard your mind, do the exercises, and remember, always repeat, I love myself, I trust myself. I love myself, I trust myself. Make that your mantra. Trust yourself. Trust your experiences, even if it's just you, even if you're alone. And make sure that you record everything. Don't show anybody what you record, because there's no point in showing anybody the footage or whatever notes you took. It doesn't matter. There's no point. That's not gonna solve it, okay? Because you're dealing with denial. So this is really for you to safeguard yourself and move on with your life and step away from that toxicity. I hope this video helped you guys, and take care of yourself. Take care of yourself.